Hi everybody, thanks for joining me out here in the garden. It is such a lovely temperature out here. I've been busily planting a few little spring perennial things just behind me there. I have about 4 David Austin roses that I've planted. I can't wait to see how they come up. And some little perennial Elysiums, some hollyhocks. I can't wait till they all start blooming to show you. And before I get started, before the chorus of lawnmowers start up, I really hope we don't get too many interruptions because the birds are tweeting out here and it's just such a lovely time of the morning. So let's talk today about tried and true tops, tried and tested patterns. These are all for woven tops. These are patterns that I've made in the past that don't take a lot of fabric. I'm always very careful when the whole title of, less than 1 yard or less than a metre, that is very hard to say because you've got to think about size inclusivity, and sometimes fabric can be up to quite a good width, say 150 wide, but there's not always a case where every single pattern will fit every single size for that amount of fabric. So I'm always really careful about that. But I think rather than saying 1 metre of fabric, I think 1.5 is a much better sort of way to say it, to make it more size inclusive for more of my viewers, because that is why we sew. A lot of the times people will say, why don't you just go shopping and buy something? The fabric can cost more than the actual going in a shop and buying a dress. Well, I say, that's all well and good if you can fit into the standard size range that you can find on the hanger. But a lot of my viewers are not the standard size in the store. And we want to be able to sew what we like in our own size, in our own fabrics that we love, to fit that kind of style. So yeah, it's very hard to just give things one title. So I'm always very careful about that. And I know a lot of you were asking about woven tops because a lot of the new linen prints that I have in store, you're wanting to maybe purchase 1.5 meters, and this is a good way to show you some great patterns to choose from. And I've got on a top here today just a lovely stripe jersey top from Love Notions Patterns. It's the Lincoln tunic top with the little buttons on the sides. So it's really nice if you're wanting a comfortable kind of knit top that you can spruce up with some really pretty little buttons. It's a great pattern for that. So let's get started. Now, as I say, a lot of these I've made in the past and a lot of them I haven't, some that I really want to try as well. So this is a list that I've chosen for tried and tested patterns, and these are all woven. So the first one I'm going to list here is a top that my daughter Phoebe has made herself, quite a few of these, and loves them for work. It's the assembly line cuff top. Now the cuff top is great because it has a great little elastic on the sleeve. You can lengthen or shorten the sleeves. It's very simple and very quick make. It has got options to lower the neckline. It's normally like a boat style neck, but you can make it more of a rounded style. And it really is great because you don't need a lot of fabric. And I know that because Phoebe chose some Liberty lawn fabric, I think it was, and she wanted to sort of spoil herself by buying this particular print. It was quite pricey, and she's about a size 16 to 18, and the 1.5 meters was heaps for her. I think it took about 1.25. It's not a really overly cropped pattern. It just sits nicely on the hips, and it's great for elastic waist skirts. So as I say, she wears that pattern to work. She has the cuff dress as well and loves that too, and has a couple of them she wears to work as well. So I can vouch for that one, and I really need to make myself a couple of these for summer because they're just so practical, wearable, and very easy to make. Now the next pattern is one that I have made in the past, and I don't know why I've only made one because I really loved how it came up, and it's a kind of boxy style top. It's the Closet Core Cello, or Cielo, I think it's called Cello. It's great size inclusivity on there as well. It's a simple style boxy top with a really lovely structure to it. So it's got a really nice cuff detail. I like the way it sits. I like the length, and there was no adjustments needed at all. Has got a tiny bit of shaping, I think with some darts from memory. I think it's got bust darts, but I love this, especially with those Pietra pants. Now, I spoke a while back about pants and how I'm just not that excited about pants making anymore, but heading into summer, I definitely feel like making some pants because there's 2 particular pairs of pants that I love, and they look great with this cello top. The first one is the Pietra pants, especially in a linen, because they've got a really nice high waist and they've got great elastic detail on the back. So there's not a lot of fitting there. And I'm all about wanting to make pants without the fitting details. If I can get an elastic waist that still has a really nice shape, I really think I need to bring out a vlog with my favorite pants patterns, especially with the easy fit elastic waist. So I may keep these for that episode, so I don't want to divulge too much because it'll take away from watching the vlog, but I would really love to make the cello top in a print. It's gorgeous in linen or in linen cotton. It's gorgeous in cotton lawn. It's anything with a tiny bit of structure. It's beautiful, but it's also great because you can make it in things like viscose rayon and have that beautiful big sort of puffy drapey sleeve. So you've got quite a few options there and a few different looks, but I love the kind of deep hem and that way it sits on the hip line. So the next one's a great one. I've made quite a few of these when they were sleeveless, and they've also been bought out an expansion pack. So that's the Helen's Closet Ashton top. Now the Ashton top originally came in the sleeveless design with either the facing or with the bias binding. I particularly love the way the facing sits. It's such a beautiful structure and it's got a really nice deep hem as well. And then Helen came out with the expansion pack, so you can get 4 different sleeves, and I've made it as well with the different sleeves. You can get the fluted sleeve, the tulip sleeve, the kind of bell-shaped sleeve, or just the straight sleeve, and as I say, the sleeveless as well. And it's not snowing. We've got lots of blossoms falling down here, if you can see any floating around. There's a pear tree and it's just covered in bees at the moment, which is so good. So nice to see some bees buzzing around. So yeah, back to the pattern. So the Helen's Closet, and that particular Ashton top looks so good with the Donovan skirt. That's a favourite skirt of mine for summer. Love a good elastic waist. I love a good pattern you can make in a linen or a linen cotton, and you can really have a few different separates to mix and match. So the Ashton top, definitely a favourite of mine. As I say, I've made it in denim, I've made one in cotton, and I've made it in last year in a lovely linen cotton blend print with the sleeve. I've made a Lady McElroy one with the tulip style sleeve as well. So as I say, it's not overly huge, oversized top. It's more of a boxy fit, like a neat fit, but a great beginner pattern and a great pattern for showing off a nice detailed fabric. If you don't want to be lashing out and buying a lot of fabric, 1.5 meters will do, especially the short or the sleeveless. The next one is one that I haven't tried, but I do love her patterns, and that is Sew House 7. It's the Remy top. This one comes in a couple of different sleeve lengths. It has kind of a yoke bust line to fit there, and it comes out with a little fluted hem. You can make it in a dress as well, but it has kind of like that little loop over keyhole detail front, and it's gorgeous in things like cotton, gauze or linens, soft rounds, and of course every time you choose a different fabric it changes the whole look of the garment. So that is a new one out for Sew House 7, and I really love Peggy's patterns. I love her free range slacks as well. Sew House 7, they are the best pants ever, but we'll get to that in that episode. The next one is a favourite that I've made quite some time ago. Now, when you can get a pattern that you can make in knit and in wovens, it really doubles the value of the pattern. And this is the Friday Pattern Company square neck top. It's a really pretty little square neck top with a cap sleeve. You can make this, as I say, in a knit or in a woven. I've only ever made it in wovens before, and I used another, I think it was another Lady McElroy, I think it was the black, the bug print one a couple of years ago now. And of course, Lady McElroy fabrics are quite pricey, so I didn't want to spend a fortune. I wanted to get enough to make a nice little neat top. And that is a nice little boxy crop style top as well. The square neck is really lovely, not too deep, but really a really great pattern. Now, the next one I'm thinking about was a top that I made about 3 or 4 years ago. I made 2 of them. This is the Grain Line Hadley top. It's an underrated pattern actually because it's such a really great fit on. It's very unique as well, and the thing I love about this is it has kind of a high-low effect, so it has a little bit of a cropped front, and the back sort of comes down a little bit more curved but a bit longer, so when you stand on the side it gives you that kind of dropped back, really lovely style. I made one in a v-neck in a cotton linen print, the sleeveless. The sleeves sit beautifully as well with the facings, and I also made a long sleeve one, and you've just got the little little button back as well. Detail really easy to get on and off, but it has a really lovely shaping to it, so it's not an overly boxy, it's more of an A-line style. So a really great pattern, and I love the shape of the V-neck one. I could definitely vouch for making another one of those. Now, another great pattern to make from the Sewing Revival over in New Zealand is the Egret top. Now, my mum made one of these just recently. We had a remnant of fabric from the June Bespoke box, which was the Avonlea box, which was the viscose kind of tea coloured with the pink roses. And I think we had 1 metre, maybe, I think it was just over a metre left. It wasn't enough to do a lot with. And Mum is about the same size as me, about a 14. And we decided to go with the Egret top because it has a really easy style, elastic neck, and the fabric just sort of gathers around really nice and softly, and a cap sleeve, and kind of just like a short tunic floaty style, and it was really easy to make. The Egret can be made in a dress or in a sleeveless style as well, and it doesn't take much fabric at all. It's really, really good for using up those smaller pieces. So that is Sewing Revival, and I'll see if I can find a pic to put in. If I don't have a pic of hers, I'll put a pic of the pattern so you can see exactly what I mean about the neckline, the elastic. So it doesn't sit up too high, but it just sits nicely around the neck. And as I say, very, very easy, quick pattern to make. The next one that doesn't take a lot of fabric is the Pattern Emporium Low Key Cami. Really easy pattern. If you like a strappy style woven camisole pattern, this is fantastic. And I think I made mine out of 1 metre of fabric. And don't forget, sometimes if you don't have enough fabric, you can use things for facings like your scrap pieces of fabric you may have in your stash. You don't always have to have the same fabric on the inside, so that's a great way of using up all your scrap pieces. And things like camis that have got facings as well, sometimes you can get away with even less fabric, so that's a great pattern. You can make it with a wider strap to be more bra friendly as well. And another pattern, I was looking through my Instagram the other night and thinking to myself, I really need to make another one of these, because when I made it, I really, really loved the way it fit on my body. This was the Peppermint Patterns Ruffle top. And this is a really lovely little boxy style top. It's not overly cropped. It sits just on the waistline. It has a nice little fluted detail on the sleeve. I made mine in a cotton linen, and I really love the way it fits on me. Definitely for a free pattern, it is worth making. And so is the other Peppermint free pattern, which is the Peppermint Ruffle sleeveless top. And I made that one in a crepe or a georgette from memory. It has a lower kind of a V shape at the back and has that nice little peplum ruffle around the bottom. So they're 2 fantastic patterns that are definitely worth making for less than 1.5 meters of fabric. And these kind of things are really easy to lengthen into a dress as well. Don't forget that if you're ever wanting to lengthen a blouse, it's very easy to do that and make yourself a dress. If you know you get the fit right around the bust, it's quite easy to do. The next one would be the Chalk and Notch Patterns Victory tank. Now this is a tank I made quite some time ago now. It has a really nice scoop style neck. You can also make it with the kind of crossover style neck. It has a couple of different options and it doesn't use much fabric. And another pattern from Chalk and Notch that I had made quite some time ago now was the Farah top that can be made in a dress. It's got a really nice little fluted shoulder detail. It does use up a tiny bit more fabric with that ruffle style, but you can do it without the ruffle. You can do it with the neck ruffle as well, which is a really different detail. So they're 2 fantastic patterns from Chalk and Notch Patterns. They have got some great patterns. One of the first indie patterns that I really loved making was the Fringe Dress from Chalk and Notch, and I also made that in the top version. So that's another one that's great for woven fabric, especially for viscose rayons. And I love that kind of scooped out neck detail. So if you didn't want to do the buttons and the placket, you can do that kind of like keyhole. Not keyhole. It's a really interesting style neckline at the front. But that way it gives you the kind of go ahead to buy yourself something really different and unique and maybe a bit more pricey, but you won't need quite as much fabric. So sometimes you can justify making yourself a top like that. The next pattern is the Itch to Stitch Orvers pattern. It's a really lovely little style pattern. Actually, Itch to Stitch have quite a lot of different tank style patterns. There's a lot of woven patterns. Her patterns are quite a lot more neater fitting around the body, but she has quite a lot of interesting, unique patterns on her website and very size inclusive as well. So I would definitely recommend heading over to Itch to Stitch pattern. Tessuti patterns. Now last year I made a couple of these and I must say that I was really happy with the way they fit. The Tessuti Ruby top, I actually lengthen mine into a dress, and the ruby top's a really lovely kind of cut out sleeve detail. You will need to make sure that your bra straps are hidden. If you've got a crossover back bra or a strapless, you can do that. But I lengthened my ruby into a dress because I had a very big placement style pattern I wanted to show off without breaking it up. But I can definitely say I love the fit of the ruby. There's also the Lenny top, which is a little crop boxy style V-neck top. And the other one by Tessuti is a pattern that I had printed out a long time ago now, but never got around to making it. And they had it shown with their Evie bias cut skirt, and they've made it in a matching linen, like a separate two-piece set, and I absolutely love it. I don't know why I haven't made it, because I really love the back button detail. You could really show off an incredible button, and that's the Tavi top by Tessuti Patterns. It's just a great little boxy style tank woven top, but to have it with that skirt and a two-piece set is just stunning. So I really would love to make one of those Tavi tops. Another pattern that I made up about 3 or 4 years ago now, and I love the fit of it. Actually, I've made 2 from memory. That's the Marilla Walker Patterns Maya top. It's just a boxy style top. You've got a little bit of curve hem detail and sort of like a curved side split detail, and this can be made in a dress or top as well. And Marilla Walker Patterns are over on Etsy. They're great, unique style patterns. Marilla Walker's over from the UK. I can really vouch for her patterns are looking amazing on. The other one would be, I think there's a Roberts collection set, and she's got a long sleeve top with some pants. It all comes as a collection, and I've made that top as well, and it's great. I used some beautiful Nerida Hansen fabric in that one too. So that's a couple of really easy make woven style patterns. There's also the Rhapsody top from Love Notions. I have so many people comment how popular that pattern is. I still haven't made one, but I will eventually. It's like when you have something in your stash for a while and you forget you've even got it. But definitely want to make a Rhapsody top. You can make the Rhapsody in so many different sleeve lengths or different styles as well. And it has that really lovely tie neck detail at the front. So they're all my tried and tested. As I say, most of those patterns that I have mentioned there I've made myself and really enjoyed making. They're like basics. They're good patterns to have as basics in the stash if you're wanting to wear them, especially with high-waisted elastic waist pants or an elastic waist skirt. There's not too many there that I would say are tunicky style. I think that's another whole vlog to have, and I will be having a vlog out shortly that will have all of my boho style, floaty style blouses, things with a bit more detail, and also things that are a bit longer in the body. These are all more of a cropped or basic style to throw back with a lot of your separate pieces. So they're all the ones that I love. I would also love to hear the patterns that you love, that you know that you can go back to time and time again, that you don't need much fabric for. If you could write that in the comments below, I'd really appreciate that, as would a lot of the viewers here watching. That's how we learn things. We also we find different pattern companies that way. It's all word of mouth, and it's fantastic to be part of a community so willing to share our favourite makes. It's just all about sharing, and yeah, word of mouth is the best way to get to know certain patterns. And as is Instagram, if you will look up the hashtag for a certain pattern, you can see how many people have made that. One of the first things I do when I look for a pattern that I haven't made is I will Google the images just into the Google search, see who's made it, what they've thought about it. You might find a review, you might find different body shapes that have made it as well. And then I'll head over to Instagram and look up the hashtag for that pattern, and you'll again see another whole heap of different people that have made that pattern. And it really is comforting to know that you can spend your time making a pattern that you know will be worthwhile and it's going to look good on your body. But it's always great to do a toile. If you're going to be using a really lovely expensive fabric, I always suggest making a toile up with either an old piece of fabric or a bed sheet or something that you don't mind sort of ruining. And sometimes you can be pleasantly surprised, and it could be a great wearable toile as well. But definitely would recommend that before cutting into that beautiful piece of fabric. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that episode. If you have, I would love it if you could give it a thumbs up, because it helps other people in this sewing community like you find the channel. And also, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching every week, I would love it if you could hit that subscribe button as well. So take care, everyone. Have a wonderful sewing week, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.